Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to be talking about vulnerability, which is the other side of the coin of humility. These two things go hand in hand. These two things are pretty much the same thing, but it's just expressed in a different way. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this question. Have you ever thought of why every single human being believes that they're the best, or every single human being believes that they're always right? And then we're just always trying to prove to other people that we're right. What is it? What is going on there? So the mind has been created by God or higher power, or whatever you believe, to make us believe that. The ego has been created to make us believe that we're always right. But then when we start to understand that every single human being believes that they're right, then we understand that not every single human being can always be right, right? Something is missing in this picture. And we know fundamentally that we're not always right, but we always want to be right and we always want to prove that we're right. So both things. We want to prove that we're right to others, even if we're not right, even if we know we would like the other people to not know. We want to look good. We don't want other people to know that we're wrong. Um, or we want to be right, like we believe that we're actually right, even if we it's not just that we don't believe, we know that we're wrong, but we want to show others that we're right, but or we want to hide that we're wrong, but we want other people, we actually believe that we're right many times, when we're probably many times very wrong as well, when we think that we're right. So what is going on then? What is this? What is the humility? What does humility mean? I've talked about it a lot in the previous video, so I'm just going to cover it very briefly and then switch to vulnerability. Humility is the ability, first of all, to understand that we may be wrong, right? We don't know everything, and this facade that we have, that I'm always right, that's fake. To understand that that's fake. The second thing is, even if we know that we're right, even if we know that we were the ones who were right in this situation and the other person was absolutely wrong, humility is the ability to be able to not judge the person, because discernment is understanding that we're right, and judgment is bringing the ego, like I am better than you, proving to the other person that I am better than you, because if I am better than you, that means I am worthy. People are going to choose me over you, so I will be the one who will be loved more than you. Fundamentally, that is the reason, right? So that is what causes the judgment. So if we understand, humility is the ability to understand that I am loved as much as this person is loved. Like God loves us both equally. God really, really, really loves the person, and God really, 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 really loves me, right? So there is no inequality. Like I don't need to put the person down. So humility is like, even though I know that I'm right in this situation, it doesn't matter. In this situation I'm right, in some other situation I'll not be right, and it doesn't make me better than the other person, or it doesn't make the other person better than me. We're both loved deeply. And humility is the ability to accept the other person as they are. It's unconditional love. That's humility, all good. So what is vulnerability? Vulnerability goes to the first point that I was making, that we're trying to hide. Vulnerability is not hiding. Vulnerability is speaking up. This is how I feel. What does vulnerability look like, for example? Um, so I've had situations where, okay, I'm not going to go into the thing that I'm thinking because I'm hiding. I'm not going to be vulnerable because, yeah, it is scary being vulnerable, and it's probably not always right to be vulnerable to everybody in every way. You have to be sure that you can handle the fallout of it, because people can take advantage of it and people can use it against you. This is so perfect. This just popped up right now. Like, oh, I'm going to hide. I'm just talking about hiding, and there I am. I'm going to hide. Okay. Vulnerability is, for example, letting somebody know that you like them. Vulnerability is letting somebody know that you got very attached to them. Vulnerability is letting somebody know that you love them. Vulnerability is letting somebody know that when they said something to you, it broke your heart. Or when they did something, it broke your heart. Vulnerability is letting them know that they have power over you. because they can use that power against you. And that is the important part, is people can use that. Vulnerability is giving the person power if you are not strong enough to handle it on your own. If you're strong enough to handle it on your own, that's fine. There are many things that I can be vulnerable about, right? I can be vulnerable about my health issues. I've talked about it many times, and I can be vulnerable about it because it's okay, right? It doesn't affect me. Somebody else might not talk about them as much. I mean, I also, yeah, I don't talk. I have a boundary around that, like how much I'll talk and how much I'll not talk. But I do talk more than probably most people would talk, because that doesn't affect me, because I'm strong in that area. But there are areas that I'm weak in. For example, this example that I was about to give you, I'm weaker in that area. So see, I'm trying to look good again. I'm like, I'm weaker. I don't want to say I'm weak. I'm trying to minimize. Okay, so vulnerability is about exposing your weakness to the other person, which gives the other person power over you, but from a place of when you feel good and confident enough that you are okay. Right. So if you are with a friend that said something to you, or that did something that really really upset you, and you let the person know that I got attached to you, and I was hurt when you did this. I was very hurt. I was crying. I was crying for days. I was crying for weeks. Like, to let the person know that, that's vulnerability. But if you want to have a real relationship with someone, and you don't really tell the person that they are affecting you. So this is scary, because the person can use it against you, right? The person can make you feel like, oh, you're so pathetic that you're crying, like, or the person can use it against you by saying, oh, good, I know now that I have power over this person, so I'm going to use it against this person. Like, I'm going to, hurt the other person even more, or whatever. So you have to be very careful. But when you want to have a real relationship with someone that you want to build trust with, then you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to let them know, and you've got to touch their heart. And when you touch their heart, then there is a possibility of a real relationship, because then they will be also vulnerable, and you both can handle each other's hearts like delicate little flowers in your hands, or a butterfly that's landing in your hands. You can handle that relationship in that way. You hold each other's hearts with so much love and so much kindness and so much compassion that there is real genuine depth to that relationship. It's not just a superficial thing where you're trying to say, oh, see, I'm cool, I'm good, I don't need you, I don't get affected by you, I don't get hurt by you. But that vulnerability, so when somebody hurts you, to be able to say that, but not say that from a place of ego, not say that from a place of like, oh, you're a bad person, you hurt me. Not from that at all. That's not vulnerability. Vulnerability is like saying, I felt hurt. So for one thing is like, you switch that you are a bad person, so no judging and blaming at all, and saying I feel hurt. So that is the basic switch to real vulnerability, to the genuine vulnerability. But it's not it. There is a deeper level to it. It's not just saying I feel hurt, because you can say I feel hurt because you're a bad person. In your mind, you can say that because you're a bad person part in your mind, even if you're not saying it like directly. So you say I feel hurt, and I understand. In my head, I can say, I understand that what you did was because of your own insecurity. And I have full compassion for you for having that insecurity. And I apologize for triggering your insecurity, which caused you to do that. So basically, even if the person said something very hurtful and mean to you, you can still have compassion for the person and say, I apologize for causing that insecurity that caused you to act out in a mean way, because I'm sure you don't want to act out in a mean way. It doesn't make you happy to act out in a mean way. I mean, except for a very, very, very few people, most people will not want to act out in a mean way. So yeah, you can, if you have that compassion in your heart, that I also have a role to play in this. I mean, sure, I did that because I didn't know, but just have this compassion. We both did it because we both don't know. We're both human beings, and we're both fumbling through life trying to figure it out. So yeah, when we have that, then we can have true vulnerability, and then we can have true meeting of the hearts, and we can build a true relationship, a deep relationship, a really deep, genuine, good, authentic relationship, where we keep talking to each other every time we hurt each other. I understand that I triggered you, and you acted mean, and I was hurt by that meanness, and I don't want to hurt you, and I want us to have a really good relationship. We can have this conversation. I want us to have a really good relationship, and I don't want to be in a relationship in this thing, like, I don't want to be hurting you. What can I do to not trigger you next time? How can I help so that I don't trigger you? How can I help so that I can love you? How can I love you? How can I show to you that I love you? Yeah, okay. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Radhe Radhe.